Hi everyone. Hello, and welcome again to English Expressions with Dr. Steph. Today I thought it would be really fun to talk about Proverbs. Um, I am particular to anything that celebrates our oral tradition here in the African diaspora. I don't have an actual book for you today. I do want to recommend some books, however, if you have a particular affinity for African proverbs like I have, and even for Caribbean proverbs like I have. I'm looking at Amazon and I'm seeing quite a few options. People have actually decided, hey, these are the proverbs we grew up on. Let's preserve them, let's celebrate them, let's share them with the world. So if you were to go to Amazon, whether Amazon US or Amazon UK, these are available. Old time Caribbean proverbs is one of them you might want to look up. It talks about the wisdom from island folks. Yes, because the proverbs are, of course, from the folk. And so that is one recommendation. There is also a collection on Amazon UK, and it actually has 401 Caribbean proverbs, and they refer to them as amazing expressions, which they truly are. So there are two works that I have already named that you could look up online should you want to get your hands on something. These days, I'm reading a lot on Kindle because what I find is I have I don't have sufficient space for all of my books. And so getting a book means getting rid of another one perhaps, and I don't want to get rid of any. So of course I do quite a bit of my readings on Kindle. I also find it to be quite convenient. Rather than waiting a few days to get a book, I can be reading in just a few minutes. And so I have been doing that a lot as well. And I have quite a bit of library in my Kindle, quite a few books that I have already acquired. I'm going to be sharing one of my Kindle books with you in another few sessions, but for today we want to focus on the Proverbs. There's another one on eBay, and it is titled Caribbean Proverbs That Raised Us. I think that the title alone sounds exciting, and it is definitely something that I recommend. So, for today's session, I wanted to just talk with you about Proverbs, just talk about this creative expression. Proverbs, of course, preserve wisdom. They are passed on from generation to generation. And if you grew up in a black home, I'm going to phrase it like that, whether from the Caribbean, the US, the UK, Canada, wherever you are, if you grew up in a home that is intimately tied to the history of Africa, then of course you would have been exposed to some kind of proverbial expression. So we do know that the proverbs are celebrated for their didactic purposes. They very often teach lessons. We use them a lot with children because there is something, some wisdom, some gem that the child needs to learn, that the child needs to remember. So, of course, it's the older generations who usually use proverbial expressions and they pass them on to the younger generation, who in turn are asked to apply the wisdom that is encased in the proverb to everyday situation, everyday life lessons. So I wanted to share with you just a snippet of some proverbs. This was a collection of poems, of proverbs rather, that I looked at last year. I did a Black History Month presentation last year, and I was celebrating African oral tradition, and I looked very closely at the proverbs. So I have here two sets of proverbs that I'm going to share. I have some Caribbean proverbs, and these are pretty popular ones, I dare to say. So the very first one is known by almost everybody. It says, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. And of course, the real meaning of this is that people who have faults should not criticize other people for having the very same faults. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. Another one is chicken Mary, hark the near. Ha, you must know that one. Chicken Mary, hark the near. And it really means that amidst our excitement, we must remember that we must keep a watchful eye out for trouble. So amidst our excitement, chicken Mary, keep an eye out for something that might be a threat. Hark the near. The third one I'm sharing is cock mouth kill cock. Oh, it's so nice to say these proverbial expressions. It basically says that you should be careful what you say because it might come back to haunt you. So cock mouth kill cock. And then the last Caribbean proverb I'm going to share is heel never go before toe. Heel never go before toe. And this means that you should deal with the more important matters first. Deal with, prioritize what is more important before you go on to the next thing. So hopefully you recognized some of those, if not all of those. And I want to then go on and share some African proverbs with you. I really find these to be entertaining, but also the wisdom that's encased in them. They don't even need explanation. So the first is a Togolese proverb. The Togolese refers to West Africans. And so this is a proverb out of West Africa. It says, the only woman who knows where her man is every night is a widow. Oh my gosh. The only woman who knows where her man is every night is a widow. The second one refers to the widow as well. I don't know why these proverbs are about the widow, but this is a traditional African proverb, and it says, before you go out with a widow, you must first ask her what killed her husband. Oh, words of wisdom. Before you go out with a widow, you must first ask her what killed her husband. And then another traditional African proverb, this one says, a person who sells eggs should not start a fight in the market. In other words, you have to be very careful when you're handling sensitive things. A person who sells eggs should not start a fight in the market. And the final one, I must admit, this is my all-time favorite. It makes me laugh, but it also, I hope, will make us think. It says, the day a mosquito lands on your testicles is the day you will know there is a better way of resolving issues without using violence. This one is a Senegalese proverb. I'll repeat it, and I'm going to end on it because it needs no editorial commentary. It says, the day a mosquito lands on your testicles is the day you will know there is a better way of resolving issues without using violence. These proverbial expressions are wonderful. They are part and parcel of what it means to exist in the African diaspora. It's part and parcel of the African oral tradition, and it is something we are celebrating for Black History Month 2024. Remember, I am coupling my love of books with my love of African clothing, and I am passing on little nuggets, just sharing with you what our creative writers and poets and griots and all of these wonderful people who, through their position as an artist, as someone creative, is also a social agent who brings about change, who impacts us in wonderful, positive ways. And so we celebrate Black creative expressions. Thank you for joining me again. Remember to like, share, and subscribe as I look forward to seeing you next time. Hopefully, you will hear and share a proverbial expression or two until we meet again. Have a good one.